Welcome everybody. Today we are doing a good old CrossFit staple called Angie. So in Angie we go for 100 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and then 100 squats. For the breakdown, for the pull-ups you can do some type of row. So if you have the towel in your door jamb or sheet in your door jamb, you can use that. You can use bent over rows, things like that. We want you to pick something that is challenging for 100 reps, of course, so you should be breaking it down into sets of 10 to 20 at most, I would say, for this workout. Progressively, each movement's going to get harder as you get deeper into the rep scheme. The push-ups next, those are probably going to be the slowest movement for myself, and I know a lot of other people doing this workout, that would be the more challenging movement of the four. You might start off with a bigger set at first, and then eventually you'll get reduced to singles or doubles or something like that as you go in the push-ups. The trick to that is try not to burn out every set. So I know for myself, I would be very comfortable doing sets of 10. I know I can do probably more than that, but I feel like I'd be getting to that burnout phase. So I would probably do 10, give myself a quick break, do another 10, quick break 10, and then I would eventually start reducing that as necessary. After that, we got 100 sit-ups, kind of same situation. The first set is going to be the easiest, try to keep it going. Eventually, it's going to slow you down. And then finally into the 100 air squats. Of all the movements, the air squats will probably be the one that you can do the most unbroken. You can do the biggest sets of, bigger muscle groups, can last a little bit longer. So really, when you get to those squats, it's kind of a race to the end. We've done this workout before, guys. Look it up in your journals. You always want to compare, see if you're getting better to the previous version of yourself from the last time you did it. Always good to have. Workout time today, I would probably say you should probably be able to get this one done around 20 minutes. 20 minutes is about the average. It might go a little longer, it might go a little shorter. That's okay. For our afterburner today, guys, we have a saddle stretch. Again, working on those groin muscles, working on the low back, the glutes. Enjoy today's workout, guys. It's always fun doing these staples. We'll see you next for the warm-up. Okay, guys, for today's warm-up, we are doing 2 rounds of 50 running skips. If you don't have a skipping rope, you can just jog on the spot for 50 steps. Or if you want, you can do 25 jumping jacks. After you're done that, you're gonna go for 5 single-legged deadlifts on one side and then 5 on the other. For the single-legged deadlift, the goal here is to just extend that back leg so you can feel your glute squeeze, you can squeeze your butt, and then you're just gonna lean forward, trying to raise the heel up as the shoulders come down. So I'm trying to keep my body in a nice lever position. So I don't wanna bend my back knee or keep my leg low. I wanna try to move as a lever all the way down and then all the way back up again. This will be a balance test. If you're a little wobbly, kind of fall out of it, that's totally fine. That's a part of what we're working on. So if you kind of fall out of it, just recatch yourself, get your balance, and then get on to that next rep. Once you're done that, you're gonna go for 50 more running skips. Once you're done that, you're gonna get into some bent over rows. So 5 on one side, 5 on the other. So with that object in your hand, we're just gonna fold forward. Notice how my back is staying flat, head and neck are neutral. And I'm gonna think about leading back with my elbow and then up, and I'm gonna squeeze that muscle in between that shoulder blade until I'm done 5 reps on one side, and then I'm gonna switch to the other. Notice that my elbow is staying nice and close to my body. I'm not looking forward and putting stress on my neck. I'm just trying to keep that spine lengthened. So you're gonna do 2 rounds of that. Once you're done that, you're gonna go for 2 more rounds. The first movement we're gonna go over is the staggered push-up. So normally in a push-up, your hands are about slightly outside the shoulder width. For this one, we're gonna keep our hands in the same spot, but we're gonna go up and out a little bit with one hand, down and back a little bit with the opposite hand. So we're still thinking about keeping that perfect plank position, and then we're just gonna move one hand forward and out, one hand back and out, and same rules apply in that push-up. If you guys need to go off your knees, you totally can do that as well. Once you're done 5 one way, you're gonna bring the other hand up, opposite hand down, core nice and tight, all the way down, all the way up again. Play around with it as you go here, guys. You can get your hands a little bit further and wider apart as you go. Make it a little more challenging. It's supposed to feel a little bit awkward as you go, so just work with the distancing of your hands. Once you're done 5 one way, 5 the other way, you're gonna go for 25 double unders. If you don't have a skipping rope, you can do the double tap hops. Or if you want to, you can still go for those 25 jumping jacks. Once you're done those, we are now going into a staggered squat. So normally in our squat position, feet are slightly outside the width of the hips. Obviously, normally the feet would be in line. For this one, my one foot's gonna come forward and slightly out, the other one's gonna go back and slightly out, and we're just gonna come down into that squat as we would 5 times on one side, and then we're gonna go back to neutral, reset our body, switch to the other side, and we're gonna go back into that staggered squat on the other side. Enjoy the warm-up, guys. It's 2 rounds of both of those. We'll see you next in the workout.
Start off with a bent over row. So in that bent over row, feet are hip width apart, knees are perpendicular. Don't round your back, so flat back. If you're feeling tight, maybe you're up a little bit more, that's fine. If possible, drop down. From here, guys, you're gonna row that bar, in my case, as close as you can to the body. So if I had a single object, I'm still thinking about nice and tight with my elbows, not to the body, but the back, to allow me to mimic that tight bar path that I can get with a PC pipe or bar.
With the push-ups here, guys, again, let's try and keep that nice tight hollow body, stay nice and straight the entire time. So with that said, let's not sag those hips, keep that butt tight, and then we're curling in that rib cage, keeping the abs tight. For the push-up here, I like to keep those elbow pits, or the inside elbow pits, facing out in front of me. So I don't want them to face inwards. I like to keep them facing out in front, so that when I break at the elbows, I'm keeping my elbows already nice and tight to my body. So that's a good cue for yourself, especially also when you're coming up. You want to think about pointing those elbow pits back out again. So you guys can do your push-ups off those toes. You guys can do a push-up where you come down and then rock back up from the knees, then to the toes. It's kind of like a kipping push-up there. That's totally fine, as long as you're keeping that core nice and tight. Last thing, you can also try going off those knees. Just one error I see sometimes with these knee push-ups, guys, is that we keep our hips bent and then come down our push-up like this. I want you to keep yourself nice and straight. So from your knees to your shoulders should be one straight line, come all the way down, and then back up again. Last movement, sit-ups. Again, guys, if you have an ab mat, great, you can use one, or if you want to roll up a sweater or a t-shirt to use as an object underneath your lower lumbar, this will allow you to open up that range of motion a little bit more in your sit-up. So again, with those sit-ups, guys, what I want to see, all the way back, chest, or the shoulders touch the floor, hands can touch the floor on the way up. Remember, those shoulders should at least make it to the hip crease. So if you imagine a hip line with that hip crease going straight up, they should be in the same line as that shoulder on the way up. I don't want you guys to be back here finishing your sit-up. I want you to be all the way through with your back and chest up nice and tall. So again, one more rep here, coming up, really tall, passing that hip plane. Going into those air squats next. So air squats here, guys. Big thing, keep that chest tall. I like to kind of keep my hands out in front of me so that when I'm getting tired, I'm not looking down as I'm squatting. So I know some of you, when you get tired, hands kind of flop to the sides or in front of you and you're looking down. Try to keep those hands up a little bit taller and look straight ahead to keep that chest tall, and also to allow you to keep your weight more distributed towards that mid-foot and the heel. So again, as opposed to doing this, guys, we're trying to keep our hands up and try to stay on that mid-foot to heel more as we're coming down in our squat and coming up from our squat.
Okay, let's cool off here again with some stretching, a 2-minute stretch of the saddle stretch. Feel free to use an object to support you. It could be yoga blocks. I got my friend Wilson here. So I'm gonna use that to demonstrate the progression. But if you don't need that, you don't have to use it. So saddle stretch here, guys. You wanna start by first, you're upright, squeeze your butt. Notice, I don't know if you guys can see it, notice my hip, I have that tilt in my hip. I wanna tuck my pelvis in before I sit down to make sure that my hip's in a better position. From there, always double check. Can you squeeze the glute? You need to shuffle around, kind of reset your hip and pelvis position. If that feels good, now you can start working your way down. The intent in the area of focus here is to not just stretch your quads, get a little bit of hip flexor. I know for myself, if I'm not feeling too tight in that area, I actually start getting my groin a little bit as well, just because I'm squeezing my glutes the entire time. So squeeze your butt as you go down. Now, you can use that object behind you to support. Notice the difference. I'm not activating my glutes, I'm activating my glutes. That's gonna protect your low back, so squeeze your bum, keep your core tight. If this feels okay and you're looking to progress it a little further, drop down to the elbows. Okay, again, anytime you drop down in progression, you're squeezing your glutes. If that feels fine, take it to the floor, guys. Squeeze your bum, keep your core slightly active. Hang out there for 2 minutes, find that progression. Maybe you're progressing within the 2 minutes. When you come back up, guys, use those arms so it doesn't hurt your back, guys, and prop yourself back up. And 2 minutes, when you find that stretch that you like, start repeating it a little bit more throughout the week, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.